Malik Kilani report. Now welcome William Moris, the chairman of Next Century Foundation for Peace. Welcome, William.
Thank you. Good to be here, Adel.
Thank you. Need to tell the viewers just in about 30 seconds about Next Century Foundation. Think tank.
It's a think and do tank, I guess. It's one of the smaller UK, Anglo-American, in fact, because it's registered in the States and in the United Kingdom, working think tanks that deals with peace issues. And the big difference between us and the big boys is that we speak to everybody. So we speak to Hamas in Gaza, or we speak to the Sadrists in Iraq, or we speak to the Israelis, and we speak to everybody you can imagine, in fact, and have very an open approach.
And the membership include everybody.
Yes, Alamiya, everybody.
Alamiya, excellent, excellent. We've been talking about the Guy Fawkes night is tomorrow, burning Parliament, and Parliament this week is so bogged down in, you don't know what the difference between inappropriate behavior and sexual harassment. Is Parliament actually losing its respect among?
No, not really. It's a worldwide problem, isn't it?
Yes.
Everybody treats women as second-class citizens throughout the world, really, which is actually a disease, and none of us are immune to it, and it's got to stop. And it's actually quite encouraging. We're talking Middle East terms. So we'd see what Mohammed bin Salman is doing in Saudi Arabia, which is kind of positive, you know, giving the women a chance to drive cars and
can travel without actually.
And then I mean, there are one or two things in Bahrain. They've introduced a new law now. Women can initiate divorce under the new family law. Now we've got those things, but we still have the same old predatory attitude.
But it's also not that. It's also saying about young researchers being sort of bullied and abused by employers who pay them pittance for the researchers. I mean, you rely quite a lot on interns and researchers and so on, but you
massively, yeah, no, completely. And you could, the Labour Party was going to introduce a law in Britain whereby you couldn't have unpaid researchers for more than 4 weeks or something. They lost in that last election, so they didn't put it through. But we rely a lot on unpaid researchers and volunteers. Switzerland has introduced a law which forbids volunteering using unpaid.
Unpaid, yeah.
Yeah, as if because they regard that as exploitative.
You are a charitable actually organization.
Yeah, so I don't see the problem. We depend on volunteers. We depend on interns.
And the Labour Party, Jess Phillips, the MP, today actually accused the Labour Party of being more misogynistic and more badly treating women, the left in general, rather than the conservative. But we like to, again, coming back to Guy Fawkes, we like to sort of throw bricks at whoever is in power. Yeah,
no, I think they're both disgraceful. Politicians everywhere are abusive of women. In the Tory party, the Labour Party in America, in Britain, there's an attitude. And we're all, the problem is that you fight with your nature, don't you?
That's right.
I mean, there is this predatory element in you, Adel Darwish, or in me, you know, and it's there because you're created a man and you're expected to compete for the attention of women.
Right. Yeah.
So we fight against our human nature, and we should, because we should respect everybody equally.
Yeah. I can't wait for the tweets from our sister, the feminist. Good point to take a break and come back.
Okay.
أذهب إلى استراحة قصيرة نعود بعدها إليكم. ابقوا معنا. And now back to our guest, William Moris. Thank you for staying with us. We've been talking about a couple of actually interesting things. The BBC stars and presenters who, some of them taking over £1 million, and this is actually licensed money. They want to go on a strike because they're no longer allowed to go through a limited company, but they have to pay tax as a direct employees. What do we think of that as license fee payers?
No, what do you think of that? Anyway, there are charities. I know one just a few yards away from here who employ people as contractors.
Yes.
It should be outlawed. The government charity concern should be taken to court. Same with the BBC. It should be outlawed. The government is talking about legislation to stop this kind of thing. Because you're exploiting not only you're exploiting people. I mean, exploiting the citizens of this country. That's right, yeah. If the ultra rich are allowed to get away without paying taxes, and in other firms, you know, we've had the controversy over Uber, the 0 hours contract where you treat people as self-employed. Same thing. It's bad. It's bad at every level, and they should be put in prison.
They might say, as we've Daily Mail actually had showed here, we might say, okay, Bill Gates is commercial enterprise, Adele is a singer, they sell the copies and so. But the BBC is financed by us.
Yeah, no, it's wrong. I mean, it's wrong not that these idiots don't pay taxes. I mean, it is quite wrong. And at least some of the big guys. You can be a little bit forgiving of Bill Gates. He gives away money.
He gives away a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, and he gives away a substantial proportion.
Yeah.
Still far too rich, in my view, but there you go. He's at least generous. A lot of these others don't give away a penny.
The same, you know, they were crying because they said, oh, we shouldn't be paying tax like the rest.
Yeah. Well, God will be their judge. Anyway, I mean, what can we do about it? The British government should go after the ones that don't pay tax, and the rest. Well, let's hope that on the day of judgment they'll be in big trouble.
And also the story we were covering is the debate on the European Union has actually gone now into the academe. And because the majority of professors are marking down students who...
I saw that. I mean, it's irrelevant. It's just
yeah, I don't know why. If it's wide, it would be really disturbing. I don't think it's wide.
No, but this guy was asking questions, wasn't he, about whether the people were teaching...
That's the conservative...
exactly. Whether the European people were teaching classes on Brexit or whatever.
That's right,
and as if it mattered. Of course it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a lot of nonsense. What is interesting is the problem of the Brexit issue has divided our society. And I mean, and it's going to go on dividing our society, and people can't get their heads around it.
That's right, yeah. I mean,
and we now have a
why? Okay,
minister.
Should the Next Century Foundation then try to get the two sides together?
Some would argue that. If we... hopefully we won't go to war on it. Like Guy Fawkes, you know, the Catholics and the Protestants, we're not going to go down that road. But the anger within families is quite remarkable.
That's remarkable, I mean,
yeah.
I got my children divided over it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 500 years this week, Reformation, you know, the Catholics.
Absolutely.
Explain to our viewers, they are the Shia and the Sunni of Christianity.
Yeah, well,
but they managed to reconcile now.
Have they? I'm not
well, I don't
sure.
know.
We still burn Guy Fawkes on a bonfire every November the 5th.
Now, do we burn Guy Fawkes because he was Catholic?
Of course we do. We don't care about him trying to blow up Parliament. We'd love to blow it up ourselves. We burn him because he's Catholic. It's still the old prejudices lurk. And you scratch every Protestant Englishman, and there's still some a bit of this
anti-Catholic thing.
Poor Northern Ireland. I mean, gosh, they've been fighting so long. Anyway, and still today, now they can't argue. They can't agree on anything. I mean, they're squabbling now about whether they should teach the Irish language
or not, which wasn't an issue.
It's an issue because it's a Catholic Protestant issue.
It wasn't an issue on the last negotiation. No. Anyway, we thank William so much. Maybe Next Stage Foundation we can handle Northern Ireland. I'm a member actually Next Stage Foundation. We can actually handle.
Yeah, we ought to do a little on New.
Thank you very much, William, for coming.
Thank you, and we'll be nicer to Catholics in future.
Thank you. We'll be.
Okay.
That's all we have. This time and see you next week. الآن هذا كل ما عندنا ونشكر الضيف ونشوفكم الأسبوع الجاي إن شاء الله. تابعونا على تويتر Adel Darwish وعلى الفيسبوك من لندن. إلى اللقاء.